Things from the void. I don't know why this is already at 40 seconds. That's weird. This is Journey Through Miro, and I am Nolan Moore, and these are my boys, Sans One. Say hello, boys.
Hello, boys.
Hello, boys.
And they are now going to introduce themselves, starting with my fiance and his tower of books behind him.
Hello, I'm the fiance, also known as Stephen the Stowell, or Stephen the Stowell II, if you're looking for any books by me on Amazon, perhaps for $13 you have to kill. I have a YouTube channel myself, Love Jedi 100, all one word, all lowercase, where I have my own Dungeons and Dragons game, Terms of Time, involving these people. Um, yeah, and I have YouTube.Stephen the Stowell. And I have various debates on a playlist on my YouTube channel. It's various playlists of many things. Um, yeah, here I play Yip Yap No Tail, Kobold Rogue.
I honestly thought you were going to say, "Oh, please, Bishop the Stole, Stephen the Stole the First is my father." uh, Either way, hello there. My name is the Black Doctor. You can find me on YouTube under the Black Doctor, TikTok under Black Doctor 21, and Instagram, I think, under that same tag. Here, I play the Paladin of Vengeance, undead terror of literally everyone, Balgroth the Dark, and resident dad of EPM.
Cool. We are currently waiting for the third member of the party. He should be here soonish. He's being held up. But
As in
we.
literally by gunpoint. He will never
Yes,
escape.
he's being held. Um, but who can give me a recap of last session? Hmm.
Balgroth had a dream
Well,
about, of the Tylorian, and the Tylorian basically left him with this weird warning. The death of a god gives no consolation. And so for most of basically Balgroth's story, he's just been trying to figure out what in the heck this means. Like, can he kill a god? Is the Goblin King, a god? And does that actually mean that he has to kill him? Can he kill him? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We basically ended up going to see the priest and figuring out that that's not what it means. Um, the king is not a god. And so we actually ended up talking to, I believe it is the Undertaker. And the Undertaker and a few other guys told us this story about these guys killing an apparition of a god and it causing this entire snowstorm that basically caused Sione to be the way it is. And he also told us to not tell the priest about this because they don't like them talking about this stuff. It's like
very,
so can you freaking not?
very good. Anything to add? Yep. Alright. It's inspiration for Balgroth, and we can get semi-started, I guess. This is just setting fluff. So, it's about midday now.
Mm-hmm.
You've gone about doing certain things, and you were also made aware that there is going to be a sermon tonight that you have been invited to by the pastor. Until then, you have some time to kill. There are a handful of shops up and running. The tailor that you noticed earlier when you were people watching. Hi, Dale.
Hello, sorry about that.
It's all right. And a bakery of which sweet smells waft from open windows. And Dale, you can very quickly introduce yourself before you choose which one to go to.
Isaiah Jaeger, Magus Extraordinaire. And By traditional standards, the best-looking person in the party.
Traditional, he says.
Conventionally best-looking.
The only human with a undead half orc, which basically has his entire face ripped off, and a lizard.
I didn't say it was a high bar. I
I'm
said
a
I was
kobold.
a bar.
I'll have you know, I'm very good looking by kobold standards.
Yeah. As I said, most conventionally attractive member of the party.
With all due respect, you can't fall off the floor.
I mean,
Oh,
I'm
don't
not
tempt
you're
me.
insulting here, Balgroth.
Don't tempt me.
Dang.
So we're going to a bakery, I hear.
So there are 2 shops that are open and running right now, and you have time to kill before you go to a sermon. One of them is a tailor, and the other one is a bakery.
I like the bakery.
Is that a consensus?
Sure.
Okay. And I will also say, yep, your disguise self spell lasts an hour at a time. So you've had to recast it through 2 times since you woke up. Just so you know.
Oh,
Just so you know. So you're going to the bakery?
Yeah.
Or? As you walk towards it, the bakery emits a very wonderful scent of the beginnings of baked goods, hints of berry mixing with flour and sugar. The windows are left open to allow the enticing smells to flow out into the snowy air, which of course sends snow inside. But inside is rather roomy. Immediately entering into a small dining area consisting of just a few tables and chairs up against one of the walls. And on the other 2, there's an L-shaped goods display case filled with muffins and tarts and different kinds of bread.
specials.
Bread.
Bread. As you pass under the doorway, you hear, not see, a bell ring a very short melody. And soon afterwards, a Ursian woman standing at just over 7 feet walks out from the back where she was presumably making some more products. She crosses her paws over top the apron that she has wrapped around her and smiles warmly at you 3. Good tidings. How can I help the entourage of the prince?
Prince, we talked to you.
Yeah, I know. He sort of leans to one side, sort of leaning on the desk, looking slightly upwards towards her. Well, greetings, madam. We just came to take a look at your wares. And he sort of looks at her up and down. As we can see, quite impressed.
Well, you're welcome to look around.
Ah, indeed. Thanks. So, guys, anything suit your fancy?
I'm told there's bread here.
There's
Bread.
Wait, they sell bread here?
Bread.
He sort of looks up at her. Well, madam, we were under the impression that you have bread and you sell loaves. Is my guess correct here?
Yes.
Any particular ones that you are most proud of, or and think that it would be best for us to purchase?
Well, I'm partial to all the things I make, of course. I've just made some mistletoe berry bread and tarts. We have a lot of those around. Don't worry, they're perfectly safe to eat after being cooked. and things of that nature.
Really? Tell me more.
Well, I don't really tend to be too fancy with the things I make, of course. It's all very simple loaves and tarts, muffins. I use what I can forage around or grow myself or what comes through the town on other market carts. There was this one time I made a very, very tasty banana bread. We don't have bananas here normally, so it was quite the delicacy at the time.
Oh, what a shame. I'm
Yes.
sure that would have been a delicacy to truly enjoy.
Yes.
Alrighty then. Well, I won't necessarily waste much of your time. You have already given me as much information as I need. We're just going to take a look around, if you wouldn't mind.
Of course. All the time you want.
I appreciate it. And he begins to slowly look at all the bread, sort of nudging to the other two. Are you guys planning on getting something or
Oh, yes. This is a bread store, Balgroth.
bread?
Bread.
So are you guys going to buy something, or am I just going to sit here looking pretty along with her?
We sell bread. We sell loaves. We got bread on deck, bread on the floor.
Bread
Toast.
on the floor.
Balgroth?
Balgroth walks out and then walks back in. What's the freaking situation?
What?
Do they have like a nice loaf of perhaps rye bread?
Rye bread?
Not
Yes.
Like the actual rye bread, you know.
Yeah. There's a loaf.
Okay. I'd like to grab a loaf of that.
Okay.
And do they sell butter here?
No.
That's all right.
All right.
Purchase this loaf.
You guys can go. I'll make a note.
Balgroth, I have a question.
Yes, yep.
What's bread?
What's bread?
Bread. Well, bread is the product of when you take, grains of wheat, make it into flour. You add things like eggs and milk, stuff and yeast to it. You put it in an oven.
It's a wizard thing? You turn wheat into flowers?
No, you grind the wheat into this powder called flour. You add eggs to it, and then you put it in an oven. It cooks, and there you have bread.
Bread.
You see, bread is really particular, and so he just starts to lean back and just starts going on and on and on. You see, it reminds me of one summer day in Sione.
Yeah, this is bread right here that I'm holding.
Why do they call it an oven when you in the cold food of out hot eat the fur?
I didn't know this is what was going to happen if I gave you guys a bakery.
Yes.
I knew the bread jokes were going to be a thing. I didn't know this was going to happen.
Hey, it throws that in here. It could be a bakery.
Fish, as far as I recall.
It throws that in. If you had Zed with us, it could be a bakery.
Balgos is just rambling on, like even if the shop host just can hear him, he's just going on. It's like, you see, I was having a delightful picnic with my good friend named Orville, and I said, Orville, I have a story, and he said, what's the significance of the story?
God.
And I said to him, Orville, not every story has a significance, Sometimes a story is just a story. You have to try. If you try to read every little thing and find meaning in everything someone says, you'll just drive everyone crazy. I had a friend do that once, and he just keeps going on.
So anyway, is it just Isaiah buying something?
Yeah. Yip doesn't see the need for bread.
He's basically the only one with money, and so he's going to buy bread for the entire crew.
No, I'm really disappointed that every item on this menu has not been changed to just bread.
Hey, dude, I looked for the best thing I could find.
Breads,
Alright?
breads.
You got bread.
Close enough.
You got more bread. You
Anyway,
got bread.
so you ask for the rye loaf, and the whole loaf is 12 gold pieces.
Dang. Okay. It's bread, you know?
It is bread. Balgroth looks around, sort of, and asks, question.
Hmm?
Do you have any croissant?
No.
You have soup?
Balgroth just droops his arms down. I am disappointed.
You have soup?
Unfortunately, no.
Oh,
Why would you buy soup at a bread store?
I don't know.
Why are you buying clothes at the soup store?
As she's
I'm
ringing
not. Can I get closer? Wait.
as she's ringing up the bread, she reaches into her apron pocket and takes out what looks like to be a piece of wood, and she starts kind of chewing on it as she counts the gold pieces that Isaiah gives her, and then wraps up the bread to hand to him.
Balgroth sort of stares at her. What are you doing?
Oh, don't mind me. I'm just having a snack.
That's a piece of wood.
This is cassia wood. It's very popular among Ursayans. It's very easy to eat. You want some?
Sure.
Saying, what do these folk look like?
So
Bear.
they are like Yeti folk, although
Okay.
their features are very bear-like.
Oh,
How do you spell that?
Ursayan is... Eyes need to focus on words. Ursyan.
That's okay.
Yes. She reaches into her apron and pulls out another piece of this cassia wood and hands it to you. There's a little piece of rope stuck to it that she kind of picks off.
Can I try one?
Of course. She gets another piece for Yip Yap.
How's it taste?
It tastes like chestnuts.
Nutty.
Indeed. He just sort of looks and stares while chewing in bewilderment, like in just completely flabbergasted that this actually tastes like something delightful.
This isn't wood? Or it is? But yeah. Is there anything else I can assist with you three today?
I think that will be it. Thank you for the lovely loaf.
Of course. Her gaze kind of shifts to one of the windows, and she kind of hums to herself. Seems like the evening sermon is starting soon. Goodness, is it that late already? Are you three going to sit in on it?
Indeed, I didn't know you worship the Tellurian.
Well, I don't outright. Of course, I do sometimes sit in on the sermons for the community of it, but I don't pray or anything myself.
I see. Well, we will be in attendance. Maybe we shall see you there.
Perhaps. It was nice meeting you three.
You as well.
Likewise.
Well, I must get to tidying up, I assume. Farewell to you three, for now.
Farewell.
Farewell.
Bye.
Alright. So you guys leave. She starts to kind of. She doesn't pack stuff up yet, but she just kind of cleans things, counts the money that she has. And you all start to join the small crowd that's walking towards the chapel where you had slept the night before. But now you find yourselves entering the actual altar, where lines of pews fill out the space up to a pulpit. And as you're relatively early, you have your choice of where you'd like to sit, either the front or the middle or the back of the room.
Oh, great prince.
I'm sitting in the front.
I'm sitting beside Balgrim.
I will also sit beside His Majesty Balgroth.
Okay.
Sort of nudges Isaiah. Don't say it if you don't mean it.
What do you mean, my liege?
As you three take your seats, the pastor, of whom which you don't know the name of, because you don't ask for the names of people, I'm starting to realize.
The pasta! The good reverend!
I'm a prince. I'm
Man
not
of
supposed to
God.
remember names.
He greets everyone as he walks down the aisle up to his place at the front. As he passes you three, he gives a slight bow of the head, smiling to Balgroth first, and then Isaiah, and then Yip Yap, the gnome.
I'm a gnome.
This is gonna be a lot of talking, y'all, so bear with me, alright?
No, we just met the bear lady.
Should I bring in the keyboard and start doing organ music?
That would be kind of funny.
Probably
I don't know
not
how
pick-
well that would translate to the
I
audio.
highly doubt it would.
Yeah. Anyway, so the pastor steps up to his podium, laying out a book in front of him and turning some pages before clearing his throat. Any chatter amongst the congregation ceases as focus is shifted to the front of the room. And he begins. It was once said in the scrolls of creation, for when you forgive those who sin against you, your divine guardian will also forgive you. But if you do not forgive those of their sins, your guardian will not forgive your sins. Some say forgiveness is an act of self-love and self-compassion, but we must not forget that forgiveness is also an opportunity for learning, obtaining knowledge to better ourselves and the ones around us. For only as a community can we come together and forego the evils that parade across this world. Some listeners in the pews mumble repetitions of his words or other relevant prayers, and he continues again. When life sat upon the peak of the world, the primordials and the primevals went to the peak, and life began to teach them. Life said, "Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be fulfilled. Blessed are the merciful, for they will be shown mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of the gods. Blessed are those who are persecuted because of their righteousness, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are the cracked, for they will let in the light of life." More of the congregation speaks louder to recite the lines along with the pastor. As they recite, the pastor retrieves another book from his pulpit and opens it atop the first, once again flipping through some pages till he finds what he seems to be looking for.
Balgroth, I'm feeling confused with the capital K.
Hate you.
Just sit and listen. Yeah. We'll talk about it when we get done.
We don't have this tradition in these churches. Sorry, everyone.
I have been requested by a member of our gathering today, who wishes to remain anonymous, to read a passage from the Solthan Testaments in recognition of our spiritual kin who are plagued with suffering thoughts of the hive sickness. And there is some more chattering behind you, mostly from the attending Limrius and Dinfolk. The pastor once again clears his throat and begins to read. It is said, when the great Solthan spread its wings over the skies of life, it also spread out the truth of light. From each feather upon its multiple wings, a beam of light brushed the land of the Tellurian, the seas of the vast, and the chasms of the Radians, until every soul of life was touched by the light. This being a healing light, a rejuvenating light, a light which soothed any ailments that had befallen the creations of life. And it is said this light has never left us. The light of Solthan's feathers still remains and still retains the healing properties for which they were originally used. These feathers are shared through the children of Solthan, the light stored inside them forever, ready to cast that healing glow. So we have no fear of ailments, for all shall be healed in the light. Have no fear of storms, for the light will break them away. And have no fear of the darkness, outside or in, for the light will always return. And he closes the Solthan Testaments book, raises it above his head as the room is filled with the sound of buggish wings fluttering against each other. None are flying around. It seems to be more of a polite applause from them. He then puts both books under the podium to replace them with a chrismal, of which he opens and lets a few drops fall onto his fingers. He drags the oil in a spiral across the now empty podium, and the pastor raises a hand to signal quiet once more. And once the sound of wings dissipates, he speaks in a closing statement. As we all drift off with the setting sun tonight, I implore all of you to go over your teachings of the Tellurian. And his eyes scan over the crowd, and you guys can roll a perception if you'd like.
I can certainly try.
Oh, we're doing perception, was it?
Mm-hmm. Yep, you don't notice this. You're too freaked out by all this, I guess. No. But Isaiah and Balgroth, his eyes, as he looks out over the crowd, his eyes linger on Balgroth for a moment longer than the rest of the gathering. And then he looks to his pulpit as if to gather his thoughts before continuing. And remind yourselves why we continue on every day. Remember the community around you and never hesitate to offer a shoulder for those who need it. And of course, though, don't hesitate to ask for a shoulder to lean on. For the quickest way for a community to succumb to chaos is to lose focus on what's important. And now everyone be safe tonight. Sleep well, and may the Tellurian and Solthan watch over us tonight. And he does two religious gestures. One is a recognizable gesture of protection from the Tellurian. The other is not immediately known by any of you.
Balgroth does the first gesture.
Okay.
Balgroth, what's the Sylphin or whatever?
Well, it's
Balgroth pulls out his phone and does a Google search.
Yeah, he I don't know exactly how to put it into words that you would understand, Yip Yap.
That's fair.
I do have a suggestion, though. You see that big man with the fancy clothes over there?
Oh, yeah?
Ask him.
Okay. Yep. Peter patters over.
Okay. Folks begin to disperse and leave the chapel, soft chatter amongst them, echoing off the paint-stripped walls to create a reverberation of anxiety. The pastor remains up at the podium organizing some things as Yip Yap walks up to him. What would you like to ask?
Hi.
Oh, hello.
Oh.
Be of help.
What? You said something, like a Sylphin or something? What's that?
Oh, Solthan. It's another name for the soaring. It's one more commonly used around here.
Thus, or
Yes.
is Yep familiar with that term?
You've definitely heard it before. The soaring is that primordial that has most reign over the sky and is said to be the creator of Limrius and bug folk and things of that nature.
Oh, Yip probably thinks that the radiance is higher on the totem. Yip
That's
probably thinks the radiance is higher on the totem pole.
Yeah, that's fair.
Oh, him. Okay. Mm-hmm. Do you dabble in studies about what do you guys call it? The radiance or anything?
Well, yes, from time to time. There are some anxious draconian folk who pass through here from time to time. I mean, our governor is a dragonborn, so I must keep up on these things, of course.
Oh, really? I don't know that word. Never mind. I didn't say quang. Oh, interesting. Nope, that's another big word.
Wow.
Amazing.
Where's my
It's his big book of big words.
my small book of small words. Actually, I'm looking for my
Do you actually have a small book of small words?
Yep, it's a small word after all. Okay, pretend I have a big set clapper. Okay, another take. That's cute. That's nice.
Is there anything else I can help you with?
No. He powders off.
All right. Very good.
Did you get what you wanted, Yip Yap?
Yeah. It's apparently another name for the guy who thinks he invented flying, you know.
Okay.
Well, there's a kobold. So there's this kobold story about the soaring, where
Oh.
this guy named Ikar and Babe made wings out of like mud and pitch and tar and trees, and they tried to fly, and they got really close, and then the radiance just went, and they weren't flying anymore.
So one of them got too close to the radiance.
How dare you invent lore for my world? That's actually pretty accurate to the lore in my world.
Hey, what do you expect an old kobold's tale to be like?
Highly derivative.
It's an old wives' tale.
Accuse him of copyright infringement.
Kobold right infringement.
As you guys talk, the pastor starts to make his way towards the back where there's a hall that he leaves and enters from. And as he starts to walk off, that Din, Esaru, that you spoke with earlier, kind of flies up to him to have a hushed conversation. And as they speak, the Din fiddles and messes with some vines that he has wrapped around his arms, his wings making quick, anxious gesturing motions.
Anybody speak bird language? Wing language?
Well, it's not that you don't understand them, you're just not close enough to hear them.
Can I scooch close enough to eavesdrop?
You can roll a stealth check for sure.
You can take a shortcut.
It's a surprise tool.
That will help us later.
Okay, yeah, you can get close enough to hear, but I also want you to roll an investigation check.
This is a prize tool that could help us later. I'm sorry. I am audio stimming today.
No, it's fair.
I'm going to use one of my advantages.
You mean inspirations?
Yeah, that's what those are called.
Mm-hmm.
That's a word.
Totally haven't been lingo starved by not playing D&D in a while.
I feel that. Hold on. God. Okay. So you managed to get closer. Isaiah and Balgroth, are you guys staying back?
I don't think that I'll be able to pass a stealth check,
I
but
mean, I'll observe what's going on, but yeah.
we'll look. We'll try to look and see what we can see.
All right. You guys do your best to remain inconspicuous as some of the last people remaining in the church, and Yip Yap manages to inch closer without drawing attention to yourself. And you kind of tune in to listen to their conversation, starting with what Esaru was saying. Looking for that phrase I couldn't find in the Testaments or the Book of Heart, but I did find something in Vetus Logia. And the pastor responds, "That is not a recognized text, Esaru." I know, but that exact phrase shows up in the chapter of he pulls out a folded parchment and glances inside. Ex puño? I see. This isn't a top priority, but do some more research. Esaru goes to fly off, but the pastor grabs one of his arms. And do not speak to that Limrius again, especially about this. Esaru nods before leaving the pastor, flying above the aisle and missing Yip Yap to exit the chapel.
What do you call the book again?
Ventus Logia.
Hmm.
And then the pastor takes his leave down the hall.
Yeah, did you find anything?
Yeah. The guy was looking for something in a book called, really weird titles. Vent is Lodge Ia? I guess it's a book about, maintenance for vents.
What's maintenance, Yip Yap?
And it's well, there's these 10 guys who Ents, whatever Ents is, I don't know.
The disguise is giving him power.
And they found the X Punyo. I don't know why slang has to be part of the official title, but they were looking for it. They didn't want him talk. The one guy didn't want the other guy talking to the Limrius anymore.
Interesting.
Okay. What
It was like there was a word. There was a special word. The X Poon. I guess X Poon is some other language for like not good because he said it's like not accepted writing. Which is like everything to my eyes because I can't read.
So it's a book that's not supposed to be read, so it's probably a banned book.
Isaiah and Balgroth, you guys can make religious checks to see if that butchered title Yip Yap gave you is recognizable. Alright. That's fair. For Isaiah, you believe that Yip Yap is talking about a book called the Ventus Logia, which I'll spell. Which is a it's a religious text used mostly among Limrius in their own private circles of teachings. It has a lot of stories centered around the different minor deises of the Soaring and how they came to be, what they do, how to properly respect them and give prayer to them. Balgroth, you kind of know this title of book. You know that it's really not considered kosher in a lot of communal circles of religion. It is very much just something that high and mighty Limriuses and Aarakocra read in their own specific churches to the Soaring, because a lot of the stories in it kind of go over the head of other primordials when a lot of the main teachings try to keep them even and balanced.
Uh-huh. So this is big brain theology book.
Oh yeah, big brain time.
Oh yeah, it's all coming together.
All come together. Oh. Oh, the Apocrypha of Cusco, Cusco's Apocrypha. The Apocrypha designed specifically to mislead Cusco.
That apocrypha.
Wait, no, Kronk as Jesus, to lead away if possible, even the elect.
Jeez.
Oh my god.
My spinach puffs.
Yada yada to see.
Do you think we should probably go after it before they get it?
Probably, yeah. I guess. Is it bad?
Well, the priest does. But I don't necessarily know for sure. I know for a fact that while he was reading today, he continued to look at me. I don't know whether or not it was just because he's nervous because I'm there, or he knows something.
You are, like, very scary, Barbara.
You're wearing a mask all the time.
You're around here, though.
Yeah, but everybody treats me with respect here.
Well, why don't you go introduce yourself?
There is a form of respect.
Yeah, point taken. But this is slightly different. I don't know. Maybe I'll go check. I'll go check.
That's
You
my
guys-
favorite.
You guys figure out what's going on over here. I'll go check.
All right. Yep. What's the plan?
The plan is, you got a plan? What are we looking for here? I feel like we already gathered information from this spot.
The plan is... What are we talking about?
Oh, gosh.
Is there more to gather? I feel like... Did I miss something? I feel like we gathered a tidbit from here.
Balgroth clearly wanted us to do something.
Right.
Listen to him.
You guys just agree to what Balgroth says and just go somewhere else.
I mean, a director doesn't just go act and then the actors figure it out. The director gives them direction, you know?
Their directions were to act. So, I think
Okay,
that we
you can't hold out...
No, we're going to follow this dork who's studying the Apocrypha,
Okay.
and Balgroth is going to chat up this gnomish pastor.
Yes.
Oh, he's an orc.
Just my
Quite the opposite.
family. What?
So you guys are going to follow...
Anywhere here?
So you guys are following Esaru, who just left. And Balgroth, you're going to go after the pastor. We'll follow you first.
Uh-huh.
So you're going to go into the back hallway to follow him?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you want to be subtle about following him, or do you want to just barrel towards him?
Subtle.
Subtle?
Let's be subtle.
Okay, can you roll a stealth?
Oh gosh. It's a 9.
The clanging of your armor. No,
Stop!
so you try to be like calm and collected and casual about it, but the loudness of your armor kind of gives heed that you're going towards him. And before he opens another door down the hall, he turns and looks to you. Your Majesty, is there something I can help you with?
Grace and peace. I wanted to talk to you about something.
Of course. How can I be of assistance?
Well, just a particular point of slight concern. I mean, the service was great, but it almost seemed like during the sermon and before it, you were a bit distracted. Is everything all right?
Yes, it's just, it's very nerve-wracking to have royalty suddenly in the presence of one of my sermons, especially when I go off script like I did tonight about the Sultan Testaments.
Well, you didn't bother me any. Why would royalty cause you any consternation?
Well, to be perfectly frank with you, Balgroth.
I'm Balgroth.
Don't be frank with me. I'll have to be Henry with you. Sorry.
That's fine.
Hi, I'm Elfo.
For the past near world cycle, it was probably more. It was very assumed that you died along with your family. And so that left the only royalty in Sione, Done, and the governor isn't technically royalty, but his wife is. So seeing you come into town, it was also kind of shocking. It was shocking to see that you were alive, and also to see the face covering you're wearing. Why do you cover your face all the time, Balgroth?
Well, would you believe me if I said aesthetic choice?
I could.
That would be a lie anyway. The reason why is because I have suffered long throughout my adventures. I did survive the attack upon my country, my family, and my people, but even engaging through this path of vengeance that I have set myself on, I have overcome a multitude of obstacles, including death itself, which, of course, has led my face to be disfigured, hence the mask.
Yes. I apologize if that's a sore subject. It's just there have been some gossip that you might not actually be the real prince. Of course, I believe you to be the real prince.
And these rumors come from whom exactly?
Oh, they're just petty gossip. They'll dissipate soon enough. Just nerves, a lot of nerves due to recent events and the sudden appearance of a prince, a dead prince. It can be shocking for some people, but I wouldn't put too much merit in the gossip that people are spreading. No. It's not worth your time.
Let it spread. Once all of Sione hears that Prince Balroth has returned, it will put King Donet in a bit of a worry. And that's what I want.
It could put him in a state of panic, of course, which would mean he'll send assassins after you.
Let them come. They will die nonetheless.
Of course. Was there anything else you needed from me, Balroth?
Do I notice anything particular about him, as if anything that is suspicious?
Roll an insight.
I'll use my inspiration to re-roll that.
Okay.
Darn it.
He seems kind of nervous, but it's probably just because you're a prince and you've just kind of cornered him in this hallway out of nowhere. Yeah.
Well, that seems to be well, that's all I needed. Thank you.
Of course. Get some rest tonight. When were you planning on taking off, so to speak?
Pretty much just as soon as our next caravan comes in. Probably in the next few days or so, or the next day.
Well, I believe the next caravan should be coming by tomorrow, if weather permits, of course.
Mm-hmm. Why do you ask?
Because you mentioned earlier that you didn't want to stay here very long. You wanted to get up to Donay as quickly as you could.
Indeed so. Well, as soon we'll be out of your hair. Thank you, sir.
Have a nice night.
He sort of bows to him and turns on his heel and walks away.
All right. With that, we'll go to Isaiah and Yip Yap, who have followed Esaru out of the chapel, and he's going towards his antique shop / what you assume to be his actual house. And he's currently unlocking the front door to go inside as you catch up with him.
Is it midday?
It is more evening. The sun is not fully set yet.
The sun is not set yet. Okay.
So you can't just kill him. But also, no, you're not invisible. So I would see you if you killed him.
Oh, could you cast invisibility on me and I could sneak in?
What if we just talked to him?
That's no fun.
Fine, we'll do it the boring way.
Just gotta say, speak on that thing. All right. So I am going to walk up.
Yep, it's Harry Carey after his last comment.
I'm gonna go. Yeah. Pardon me, sir. Could we have a moment?
It's very clear that you startle him as he kind of like jumps up and hovers for a second before calming down and facing you. Oh, hello. I'm closed for the night. I'll be open again tomorrow morning. Were you looking? Did you want to? What's up?
I couldn't help but have sort of overheard that you may have seen Ventus Logia and have found some crossover between that and the accepted works. Is that true?
Well, it's not. It's not against the. How do you know that?
Oh no, I'm not mad at all. I'm curious.
Yip Yap is just face palming so hard.
Was he in like a closed room when he said it, or was he just like whispering to the
guy? He was being spied on.
I know, but like he was in a public place. It's not like you actually need a telescope or something.
They were obviously trying to be away from anyone who could hear them.
Well, I heard him.
No, Yip Yap heard him.
I know, but I'm not telling him that. That would be weird. You were spied on by the lizard people? Come on. How's that going to go over?
Well, he doesn't even know he's been been spied on by the lizard people. In fact, he's been spied on by the gnomes.
Oh,
Yes, the
no.
gnomish people.
I'm a gnome.
Anyway,
Not goblin.
I collect a lot of I collect religious works. It's
Interesting.
just something I'm interested in.
No, that's fascinating. And is this book's rare or no?
It's rare outside of Limria's circles.
So, like, I guess is the notable thing that he's finding overlap and not so much that he has the book.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm curious, just in your comparisons, you see you see overlap. Is it significant or merely something that would validate one with the other, perhaps?
Are you asking me or him?
Him.
Well, I was just reading through it for no particular reason. And I thought that one passage was interesting, so I decided to tell Olam the pastor about it. And I should really feed my bug dogs.
Your bug dogs. Is that a real thing?
It's the things he has. You've seen them.
Bog, if you will.
I still have to go feed my up dog.
What's a bug dog? No, I'm kidding. Well, very well. Perhaps I'll visit tomorrow, but I am quite curious. That is an area that's of interest to me as well. I also collect rare books.
Well, it's my only copy. I wouldn't be willing to give it away.
No. Of course not. I just want to hear more about it.
Of course.
I won't spread it around if that's what you're worried about.
No. I'm very protective of my things.
Well, I'm certainly no thief or burglar or defacer of valuable property, so you have nothing to fear. But good morrow and enjoy the bug dogs.
Good night.
That couldn't have gone worse. If you were arrested.
Why do you think you would? What was bad about that, Yip Yap?
You
No. Articulate it.
you have the subtlety of a goblin.
Why are we being subtle?
You're clearly not. I should give you a few pointers on being roguelike.
I wasn't. You're the one who wanted to rob him. I'm
I didn't
actually.
want to rob him. I wanted to eavesdrop.
Well, Balgros sort of walks all the way back and sees these two arguing. I feel a sense of shame. What did you do?
Dang.
He spilled the beans about us knowing about him knowing about the thing that shouldn't be known about.
He looks to Isaiah. So it's your fault.
My fault.
Exactly.
You act like this is a bad thing.
So it's your fault.
Oh my goodness. Perhaps it's his fault for being overly sensitive.
I don't even know the meaning of the word.
Exactly. See, he can't even deny it.
So it's your fault.
Balgroth, just because you're the ex-prince around here doesn't give you the right to just... Oh, never mind. Whatever. What did you learn?
I learned that apparently this town is still recovering from the reality that I am alive. They thought I was dead.
Oh, well, you were dead.
Before that, they thought that I was killed alongside my family.
Oh. Well, it's understandable.
And now that they know that I'm not, or some have survived, have ascertained that I'm not, some are still believing that it's just a myth, especially because of the mask that I wear.
Mm. Well, do you have anything to prove your legitimacy?
Could it be the armor that I'm wearing, the symbols and the pictures of my wife and kid?
Well, yeah, just show those to everybody. You'll be fine.
Mm. So what do you want me to do? Just anybody who has a question of who I am, just shove the picture of me and my wife right beside them?
I was thinking a parade, but yes, that could work too.
Unless my parade is a parade of warlords, I don't think that's going to do anything. Which
Well,
would be nice, by the way.
yes. Well, what do you want to do about this case of not really mistaken identity and this book of his?
I'd say we keep an eye out for the book. And the more that we make our presence known here before we leave, which will probably be the next morrow, then the rumors of my return will spread. And it will go straight to the King Donet's ears. And we'll see where the chips fall. If he brings in assassins, they will die. If he brings in an army, they will die.
You expect the king to not want you alive?
He killed my family and my kingdom. Do you think he'll be okay with me being alive?
But did he, not to put it, was it as it was a targeted attack then?
Of course it was.
Well,
So apparently, my family had something that he wanted. Whether it's gold, riches, or my life.
well, I guess we'll have to see what tomorrow brings.
Indeed. So where do you want to head to now?
What time is it?
It is evening, nighttime. Most people have turned in.
Is there a food place? A
No.
tavern of some? No. Good thing I have rations and bread.
Bread. So, would it be correct to imply that you all were walking back to the place where you slept the night before while you were talking?
Yeah.
All right, so you guys walk back to the chapel because that's where you slept, and you go down the hallway. Many doors are closed now, as many folks have begun their sleep, and you three return to the room of which you stayed in and start readying yourselves to join them. You guys do anything different from your normal routines?
No.
Okay.
No, I mean, I guess I'll check on the egg, see how it's doing. But
It's
outside of that,
egging.
egging. All right.
It's egging for sure. It's still kind of glowing a little bit, but it hasn't changed much.
Gotcha.
Egg is egg.
Egg. As you all drift to sleep, the night is very quiet and pensive. The sound of rest echoing in your minds as you all drift off for the passing of the nearly 3 full moons in the sky. And I will call a break there for about 10 minutes before we continue.
All right.
Hey, Duck.
Yep.
Do you ever feel like a plastic bag?
Rushing through the wind.
We were watching John Tron the other night, and that was the episode.
His cover of Firework. I need to watch John Tron over again. Apparently, he's living a happy life now, which is good.
Mm. I really want to get a mechanical, more portable typewriter.
Do it.
I want one that's smaller.
Do it.
I want to. I can't find a good deal. There's a specific series of models where it's like it's easier on the hands because of how
Mm-hmm.
the shift works.
Mm-hmm.
From what I've understood from the videos I've listened to, is defaultively most typewriters, mechanical ones, the shift is you have to use your hand to force the whole roller up,
Yep.
where there's a series of some where the shift just shifts the typeface.
Wow.
So, hoping to find some of those.
I'm sure you will. This is the way. This is the way. Mm. BRB. Pizza, garlic knot calzone. Hello, gorgeous.
I feel like I just got hit by something. Some angel just tried to sucker punch me and didn't quite do it. It does sound really good, though.
Right?
Is Dale making food?
I don't know. He might be.
What if his house burned down?
Oh no.
Oh no.
If he did, he'd probably end up losing connection.
I mean, I don't know.
Suddenly, I'm on fire!
No, it's muted. We wouldn't know.
Hey guys, my house is on fire. I'll be back.
God!
This is fine.
I'm sorry, my house is currently in flames.
I'm psychic.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to get back to you.
A few minutes. Take me a few minutes to put this out.
Give me a minute.
Entire Kamehameha wave.
All right. We ready?
Oh yeah.
All right. So, the sun rises on another snowy day, and each of you blink awake from dreamless sleeps, respectively, and take in your surroundings. The room has not changed. You have not teleported anywhere, and it's not on fire. Congratulations.
Can I
Alright,
disrespect
time to start
my
a fire.
surroundings?
What?
Time to start a fire.
Can I disrespect my surroundings?
Depends.
I flip my makeshift bed upside down.
Oh no. You've made a mess.
It's just me.
The morning, like the evening, is quiet. And Balgroth, you heard from the pastor that there might be a caravan coming to town today.
Yes.
You don't know when, so you have time to kill. What would you guys like to do?
I want to go find Father Time so I can kill him.
Oh no. Oh no.
Then I shall truly become immortal. For time shall no longer so time will cease to exist.
Yip Yap gets started on his drinking for the day.
Which one?
He's gonna start off with the fun flask.
Ooh, wild magic.
Yeah.
How appropriate. Yep, you wake up and immediately start drinking, and you take a sip from the wild magic flask, of which I'm going to say has 2 uses left in it, so make a note of that.
Okay.
Because I don't want to. And as you drink it, it feels much colder than it usually does. And then you realize that you feel very cold. In fact, you feel freezing, which is not good for a Yip Yap to feel freezing.
I am cold-blooded. I'm just gonna lay back down and go to sleep, I guess.
Luckily, you don't feel tired. But as the cold kind of surrounds you, physically, swirls of snow and ice start to surround you,
Wow.
making a kind of like contained, half-formed tornado. And for the next minute, you can cast Ray of Frost as a bonus action.
For the next what? The next
Minute.
minute?
Yeah.
You got 60 seconds. What do you do?
What do you
I'll
freeze?
do
Make it a freeze.
I'm a slide in to whoever's out of their room, whoever opens their door first. I just slide into their view and just go hey and zap the ceiling out of both fingers.
Are you a yip yap or are you a gnome when you do this?
I'm currently a yip yap.
Okay. So you look outside. The first person you see in the hall is
Not the first of them
of Balgroth and okay. So Isaiah and Balgroth, you see Yip Yap drink. Ice starts to surround him. He tries to be cool and in turn chills the ceiling above you to a block of ice.
Well, yip yap. If this falls on me, you know the
it's
consequences of
cool,
your
man.
actions.
It's all cool, man.
That means if it falls on me, it's going to be even worse for you just because of that pun.
Oh dear.
Unbelievable, Margaret. Seriously, you need to chill out. And he shoots to the two bookends of the hall.
You could only do
Really?
it once. I guess.
Oh.
Well, I guess within 60 seconds. Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. More ice fills the room.
I'm going to shoot a firebolt to counteract some of this nonsense.
Okay, you get the ones on the walls.
And this is how we burn the place down.
I didn't expect this to happen. I said
What did you expect to happen when you gave him magic? Possible behavior? Shaplanigans?
I mean, it's fun. Anyway. So what are you guys going to do today?
The same thing we do every day, Null. Make your life as a DM a little more difficult than it should be.
Yeah. It's fine.
Hey, Verb, I know what we're going to do today.
Are we just looking for Para's person?
That book.
So as far as Noid and Para go, Noid said that they would get back to you when they get a more solid pinpoint on where Para is. As far as you know, they're just in Sione somewhere.
But we're not looking for their minion anymore?
What?
I thought Para had a minion that we were looking for. And I know we found one in the last city, but I thought the reason were we coming here specifically for Para or for one of her
You have been going to these places because Noid has you looking for Para, and you're finding people that they're employing instead of actual Para.
Yeah.
I see.
So we're still looking for her.
You know who we haven't seen in a while? Zato. That's pretty cool. Or Flogant. Maybe he's mad that I kept killing him. Or killing little Flogants. But, well, perhaps Yip Yap. What shall we do today?
Yip Yap just breaks into the Phineas and Ferb theme song.
All right.
Yare daze, Yip Yap.
What?
Well, there doesn't seem to be any sign of Para. We don't know when that other caravan is going to get here. Do we still have any idea about that apocryphal book that we were at least slightly planning on looking for before somebody dropped the ball?
Drop the ball. Are we planning to murder him? We can talk to him about it right now. Let's go to his store. You psychopaths.
Right, because he's probably going to...
Skeevy guy, but what are we going to do?
I didn't even suggest murder, but now that you mention it.
It's always murder with you people. Remember when you were replaced with an actual murderous doppelganger and we couldn't tell the difference?
That guy didn't actually kill anything.
Yeah, that is a little racist to assume all doppelgangers are murderous.
I mean, he encouraged you to follow a path of murderous vengeance, Yip Yap.
And so does Balgroth!
That's the point!
That's not bad. That's like justice needs to be happened.
Granted, that doppelganger didn't actually kill anyone. Not even me.
I really wasn't buying the whole, would that going to hurt you as they drew their blades? Just because they weren't competent enough to kill yours truly doesn't mean it might not have happened.
Didn't even kill me either.
Not everyone's a worthy target.
That's why you didn't die.
I didn't die because I'm a master of the arcane, Balgroth.
Whatever helps you sleep at night.
Yes, me sleep, not a doppelganger sleep. In my case.
I'm a master of unlocking.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's been a lock that he hasn't been able to unlock. That is true.
Yes. Now, well, let's just go to this, not Emaru, Esaru's house.
All right.
All right.
As you guys ready yourselves for the plan you've made, the calm dawn is suddenly shattered by a rusty ring reverberating through the cold air. The church bell, once a mere statue, as you arrived, now clangs back and forth, intermixed with the screeching of aged metal. It seems like the halls rush to life as others who slept there begin pouring from their rooms, the main hall quickly becoming blocked, and many resigning to exiting out the back doors of the church.
Wonder what's going on. Balgroth sort of follows the crowd to see what's going on.
Okay.
Get followed Balgroth.
Yep. Are you a gnome?
Yes.
Gnome, okay.
I'm a gnome.
Isaiah, do you follow?
Is there a magic person in town?
We'll find out. Isaiah.
What am I doing? I'm following you.
Okay. So you guys get outside, going around the back of the church, and it seems like all of the town is spilling out of their homes to see what this sudden occurrence is about. And very soon a crowd forms around the front steps of the chapel, and you start to hear screams and cries as women cover their mouths in shock, men hide the eyes of their children. As you push forward through the crowd to see what's going on, you're able to make out a body. On the steps of the chapel lay a malformed dinfolk. Its head is covered by a burlap sack as twisted limbs fall over the stone stairs. The pastor standing over the body, his normally dark green face now a light mint as the pallor of fear and worry overcomes him.
Is it Esaru?
No, it's not.
Okay.
Balgroth runs over to the pastor and sort of kneels beside him. Who is this? Tell me what happened here.
The pastor seems unable to respond to you, stuttering to himself, switching between common and orcish and draconian, or draconic. You look at the din, and its clothes are torn to shreds, especially along the chest. A set of limbs are missing from his thorax. The connecting points are covered with a dried green blood, and within the gouges along his chest there are scraps of mistletoe. The berries and leaves also covered in the blood. The pastor kind of leans down, shakily putting a hand out to examine the body, still not quite acknowledging you or really anyone in this moment. Another orc leaves the chapel, rushes down the steps, rubbing his hands against his pants legs. You recognize this orc is the owner of the tailoring shop. He scratches at his cheek as he looks around the crowd before running towards his wife and children, who embrace, and they begin walking away, keeping tight to their children. The pastor begins to stand as Balgroth, you hear him stutter just barely a, "It can't be," before barking fills this hesitant silence that's fallen over the crowd. Those six-legged dogs of Esaru run through the center of town and up to the chapel. Esaru is chasing after them. Dirt and snow are falling off of his feathered antenna and his hair. He apologizes very profusely as the dogs try to snap at the body, but he loops rope around their necks to pull them away. And the pastor, that seemingly gets him out of his haze as he clears his throat and gestures to some people in the front of the crowd. It seems we need to dig a hole. Somebody please fetch the Undertaker, and I would like at least 2 strong fellows. Balgroth, I would appreciate your help in getting this poor soul prepared for his more comfortable eternal rest.
Balgroth nods and sort of stands up, ready to do what needs to be done.
The pastor leans down or kneels beside the body, kind of once again getting a better look at his the situation, trying to decide if picking him up is a correct thing to do. And you see him pull something from beneath one of the folds of the Din's wings, and he glances at it before putting it away in his vest. Okay, Balgroth and Clancy, he points to a orc in the crowd who rushes up. Can you two please carry this man inside and set him upon the pulpit? We'll have the Undertaker look at him. Somebody send an owl to Zestial. The man needs to see his son. At this point, the mayor has shown up, and he puts a hand over his mouth as that is spoken, and he kind of runs off towards what you can either assume is his house or the mayor's place or whatever.
Yeah, Balgroth, I guess, helps lift the guy up to his designated place. So who's carrying him with me?
There's another orc that has been named Clancy, and he is kind of very shakingly helping you carry this Din inside to where he can be laid down on something softer.
As we carry him, I ask him, "Did you know this person?"
No, not personally. This was Litrix. This is the only child of our governor, Zestial.
So, the governor's son killed. Who do you think could have done this?
I don't know. A goblin, maybe? Goblins? They've been getting bolder lately.
Oh, sorry.
Well, if they've been getting bolder, we're going to need to do something in order to make sure that they don't mess with this town again.
Mm-hmm. Killing goblins?
Hold on, Yip Yap, not until we find out who exactly we're looking for.
Oh, everyone's a goblin.
So, Balgroth, you and Clancy lay, who you now know was named Litrix, against a bench that's behind the podium. And as you were carrying him and you have this closer look at him, the bag still over his head, you see that this isn't really a normal Din, aside from the savage death he seems to have endured. Along his thorax and remaining arms, there are soft blue scales cascading across his carapace. And where his clothes are torn, there's not just the mistletoe and the berries, but bits of organ and viscera spilling out onto his shirt.
I continue to investigate. Have I seen these blue scales before?
Roll an investigation. And no, you have not.
Investigating.
Upon, like, as you look closer at the arms and the thorax and the scales, you see that where the two limbs have been severed in some way, it's a very clean cut. They weren't pulled from the body and they weren't hacked at. They were severed with something very sharp and very cleanly.
Someone took time and effort and intention in doing this. I look towards the bag that's over his head. Does it seem attached, or can I remove it?
It's loosely held in place by a rope. You could easily remove it.
I remove it.
It is a very gruesome sight that you are met with when you remove this bag. The upper portion of this young man's face has been caved in by some kind of blunt force trauma. You can assume he used to have 8 eyes because there are 8 holes in his skull that have still wet. I don't know what eyes are made out of. Left in them. And the lower half of his jaw, there are what appear to be wires that were meticulously shoved in and out as if to sew his mouth shut.
This man wasn't just killed. He was brutalized and tortured. Why? By whom?
My goodness.
Is there any sign of anyone who could have done this?
Roll another investigation. Isaiah and Yip, are you also there?
Yeah, yep, swallowing.
Yeah, I'll walk up, yeah.
You two can also roll investigation. The pastor is currently doing a job of keeping most people out as the Undertaker walks inside and starts walking up with him towards the body.
You know, I'm going to use a little advantage on that one.
I'm going to use my second one because that's all I got left.
Yeah.
13's not bad.
There we go.
Unfortunately, there's just not enough information for you to try and figure out who might have done this.
Son of a gun.
Quite brutal.
The Undertaker steps up beside you. Clancy very quickly backs off. He seems to be scared of the Undertaker in some way or form. And the Undertaker, as you know him to be, Admantha, kind of kneels down. Very, very brutal indeed. Shame.
So what do you think happened?
Well, I'm no coroner, but it seems he kind of moves a hand over and lightly picks up one of the twisted arms to look at his wrist. He was bound in some way. There are rope burns on his wrists and hands. The wrists are broken. Most of the arms are broken. The cuts in his chest. Something jagged. The mistletoe is interesting. And the face is just a mess.
Mistletoe, you said?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that lady baked bread out of mistletoe. Not saying it was the bears, but...
It would take a lot more than that, or... that I don't know. but that's the only lead we have so far.
Doesn't look like he ate the mistletoe.
No,
Just looks like it was placed there.
Aha! A setup.
indeed. But in order to get it, there's got to be how many people he turns to the Undertaker and to the other orc. Just checking. How many people in this town do you think have access to mistletoe?
Clancy kind of shrugs, very much trying to remove himself from the situation. Admantha slowly stands up. Well, it grows very easily around here. We planted very many mistletoe, a lot of mistletoe around because it is a symbol of the Tellurian. To see it used in this way is very unnerving.
It seems to be an insult to him.
Yes.
Hey, Bargra.
Yes.
Does the way your magic works? Do you just have like a prayer book that you like memorize spells out of, or do you have to like find spells?
Well, my spells are pretty much tied around my oath. It is relegated to the devotion of my god.
So you don't have anything outside of a specific set of spells?
Not at the moment. I do have my prayer book, which does contain some of the spells that I have.
Okay. Because
Uh,
I've heard stories about people who use magic like you who can speak with the dead.
mm-hmm.
So maybe we could get answers that way if you can, or if we know someone who can.
Well, I can't, but who
Like,
knows? There might be there. Is it? He turns again. Is there someone who is at least accumulated with magic or necromancy?
Hmm.
Admantha is kind of focused on the body. You look to the pastor as he steps up and he gestures to the Undertaker as an answer to your question.
He knows necromancy?
I dabble. He stands up and looks at the pastor, kind of a little bit taller than him, as he stands to his full height. Will you bring this body for preparations? And I will have him cleaned up and ready for proper burial. Gentlemen. And he starts to walk off.
So you're just gonna. Balgras sort of walks and walks while. So you say you dabble in necromancy, and you're when we need answers, and you're not even gonna try.
He looks back to you. If I were to speak to this young man's ghost, it would be a more agonizing experience than his death. And I don't think he would have much to say anyway.
He could give us answers.
Like what?
Like who killed him?
What if he doesn't know?
Well, then we know that. Or like if they're big or small, because if he was attacked by a lot of small people, goblins.
Hmm. Balgroth, would you like me to raise this person from the dead? Or not me? Would you like him raised from the dead or spoken with?
He did say that the agony would be worse than even keeping him dead.
Yes.
And there is a possibility that we would be going nowhere.
True.
I mean, we'd get some information from it.
I'm thinking, what are your guys' thoughts?
I say do it.
What other choice do we have?
Guess. That's all we have is just guessing. We can either try to figure out what he knew, or we can continue to operate without any information. Other than he's dead.
Balgroth bites the side of his mouth. Raise him up. We need to know.
So Isaiah's going to cast the spell?
I would have to take some time to learn it. Necromancy is of interest to me, but well, practicing it is frowned upon for various reasons. Perhaps perhaps the man would be willing to. Well, he probably wouldn't be willing to teach it in this sec. We need to find a book I could copy it from, unless it's in one of the books I have, like the Skin Golem book or something.
It's probably in the Skin Golem book.
They've got to have like a "so you did the ritual a little bit wrong. Here's how to make the best of it" section of that book.
Who knows? Well, until you can find that, I guess we just have to find another way.
All right. Admantha takes his leave, and the pastor walks up to you three. Are you really sure it's okay to speak to the dead? That
Not against
seems
my religion.
Well, it just seems very unorthodox and unnecessary. The man was killed, whether by it was goblins or misled bounty hunters. I feel like the means of his death don't matter. He is dead.
Don't we want justice for this man? Like, was he hated or something? Why the dismissiveness of finding out answers?
This is a person of really authority.
The pastor hesitates for a minute before answering. I would want to wait until his father gets here.
Indeed. And of course, this gives us enough time. But before I suggest that we put the situation to rest until he gets here, there's one thing you probably should know, Pastor. You still technically are talking to the dead.
What I said last night, I didn't mean any disrespect, Balgroth.
Oh no, I'm not talking about the rumors. I'm talking about in reality. And he slowly lifts up his mask and reveals his face.
Ooh.
The pastor's face seems to turn even paler as he kind of covers his mouth for a second. Oh. Well, I'm very sorry, Balgroth.
You and me both.
I need time to think on this, and we need to get the body ready for burial. It doesn't seem like he's been dead very long, so I would like to lay him to rest before he starts to decay.
Walgroth lowers his mask. Very well then. Do what needs to be done, and we'll discuss this when his father gets here.
Yes, when Zestiel gets here, I am going to go speak with the mayor on the subject. You three try to continue on with a pleasanter day. Farewell. And he makes his exit quite swiftly.
It's very weird that they're, like, very not wanting to investigate.
I
Yeah.
agree.
Could I, well, I guess he's gone now.
Let's just take the body with us.
I wonder if I could use detect thoughts to learn a spell from someone else's brain.
Ooh, that'd be interesting.
Let's see. There's the antique shop, but there's no magic shop in the area, right?
No.
I want to go to the antique shop.
Okay. As you guys leave the chapel, you see a lot of people have dispersed by now, clearly not wanting to stick around after the body was discovered and it needs to be cleaned and all that. You do see, however, a Limrius kind of leaning against the wall of the chapel. My brain isn't working right now. Leaning against the wall of the chapel. In one hand, he is holding a cigarette type thing with green smoke curling up from it, and his other arm has been turned into a wing to keep the now falling snow off of his head.
Is he just watching us?
He glances at you guys and kind of smirks to himself before going back to smoking.
Hello, friend.
He blows out a puff of green smoke. Good morning.
Crazy about that murder.
Oh, you think it was a murder?
It doesn't look like a suicide.
Fair.
What are you thinking?
Well, I think. I don't know. I could think a number of things that happened, but I don't know if any of them are true. I'd have to see the body.
What's your expertise there?
Oh, I just like to look at things. I'm quite, I've got a good eye for detail.
I see. You're, do you work with the dead often, or just general investigations, or just an observer?
Well, I guess that depends. Most people I talk to die eventually, you know. I talk with my buddy over there, and he gestures to the Undertaker, who's walking across the graveyard. And, you know, I talk to the gods from time to time. But most people don't like hearing about that.
Interesting. And what do they tell you?
Nothing of importance. Honestly, I think I should start believing people when they tell me that it's just hallucinations.
Is this green cigar, does it smell kind of like, bad tobacco?
It smells floral. Sorry, terribly rude of me. What's your name?
I am Isaiah Yeager, and these are my traveling companions, Yip Yap and his lordship, Balgroth the Dark.
And don't you forget it.
Ah, yes, the prince who's returned. It's very quaint to make your acquaintance. I am terribly sorry about what happened to your family and to your kingdom, of course. Terribly, terribly sorry. It must have been such a burn on your heart.
Like facing death itself.
Haven't we all been there? Yip Yap is a very strange name for a gnome. And he kind of leans down to look at him. Most
From far
gnomes I
away.
know are named after plants.
Oh, you don't know about the Yip Yap route of the Kim Kardashian countryside?
I've been to Kincardine many times, and no, I have not.
Oh, you have to go deep in the mountains to find it near the Goblin Caves.
Deep in the mountains. Deep in the mountains in terms of caverns, or to the top of them? Deep in the mountains in terms of the floating mountains, or deep in the mountains in terms of Xanthan Mountains?
No, the Kim Kardashian Mountains.
Are you sure?
I'm sorry. Are you telling me I don't know where I'm from?
Where are you from?
I just told. Well, I told you what I was named after.
Yes. I know a gnome that's named after an underwater plant, but he can't breathe underwater.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
I know a gnome that's named after a certain flower that's only grows in Xanthan. It's like a sunflower, but not quite. It's very pretty. Very vibrant, red and orange petals. A lot of people say that the Radiance himself planted those.
Fascinating. I'm surprised I haven't heard. I am a whatever the fancy term for worshipper is of him.
I've never met a gnome that was a worshiper of the Radiance.
Well, I'm a special guy.
Well,
Religious. We have religious freedoms and all.
of course. Of course. Well, for me, you can call me Aiton.
Say that one more time. My ears are a bit. Blah.
Aiton.
Eaten. Oh, like breakfast. Oh, hey guys, we haven't had breakfast yet.
Oh, you hungry?
A little.
I could perhaps get you some food. What would you like?
Uh, Fish.
Fish.
Yeah.
How do you like that cooked?
Um, Rare.
Mm-hmm. Well, unfortunately, I can't get you breakfast. But
Well, then why'd you offer?
because
Because what?
I love to spin a tale.
Oh,
Anyway, if you do want food, then you should go to the mayor's house. He has lots of food.
oh.
Yes.
Is this a tale you've spun, or is it true?
About the mayor having food? Of course he has food. What
Is
else
it
would he eat?
Yeah, right.
food that is accessible to us, or is it just food in his pantry?
If you asked him, I'm sure he'd give some to you. I mean, you're traveling with a prince after all. You could probably get whatever you wanted. I mean, if I was a prince, I would be going around asking for anything I wanted.
Don't give him ideas.
I have honor.
Of course, it must be very difficult to convince people that you're the prince when you don't have a face.
His eyes begin to furrow. How do you know about that?
Well, I know now.
What do you mean you know now?
Well, you just confirmed it for me. I was just talking about the rumors I've heard around town about how you were viciously deformed by the fire that took your family away. You don't have a face.
It wasn't a fire that killed my family.
But we can certainly chalk your face up to that if you'd like.
What do you
Don't
know
you?
about what do you know about goblins in the region?
Goblins? Oh, interesting little creatures. You mean the little tiny ones with the wrinkly faces and ears, or do you mean the ones that live off in the forest down by the coast who are actually quite nice and grow out of the ground?
The uglier ones.
Oh, I wouldn't call them ugly. I mean, a gnome would be ugly to goblin standards, you know. A kobold would be ugly, you know. But what I know about them, I know many things about goblins. What would you like
Okay.
to know?
What do you like the ones in the region? Like, have they been how have they been hostile? You know, do they go around murdering mayor's son?
No, they go around murdering many things,
Mm,
Such as
such as important figures.
like the mayor's son
The governor's son.
or the governor's son.
The mayor doesn't have a son. He wants one, unfortunately. Um,
sure, whatever.
if it were goblins that killed the governor's son, I don't think that they would leave him smack dab on church steps. They would leave him somewhere to be eaten by something. I'm more interested in wondering why the body was put on the steps of a church that was once used for the triad. That's very interesting to me.
A regular noticer, this one.
So we have the Tylurian, we have the Soaring. Who was the third of the triad again?
Oh, no, dear prince, the triad isn't a conglomeration of primordials. The triad is a blasphemous creation that likes to think that they're the peak of existence just because they were on Zato's good list for a little while.
Oh, Zato.
I see.
But if you want to talk about triangles in terms of the deises, the Tellurian is to the Soaring to what Svelda is the Tellurian. You very know.
Hmm.
You know a lot of things.
I have an approximate knowledge of most things, yes.
Hmm.
What is your profession, Peyton?
Well, I've been called many things, a messenger, a prankster, other things. I like to see myself as an entertainer.
Entertainer. Well, you at the very least piqued my interest.
Indeed.
And then I did a good job.
Can I please cast Detect Thoughts on this guy? Just see what's going on in his Nagaroni?
Yeah, sure.
Cool.
So surface thoughts. You immediately get a pounding headache as what seems like thousands of words of information is immediately flooded into your head. You can't make out anything from another. It's just words on words on words all at once.
My goodness.
You all right?
Yes. Just a bit, just thinking through a lot.
Aren't we all?
Well, I suppose. Well, where are we off to, Balgroth? This is your town.
This isn't my town. This is my land. But
Fine. I suppose I can lead, and you can follow.
so we're just waiting for for this guy's dad to get here. I honestly don't care what else we do.
Celestial. I should make sure he gets that owl, you know. I should make sure he gets that message. You know, the mayor is not very good at handling owls.
What do you mean?
Well, I'm just saying that the mayor isn't very good at hurting birds. He might missend the owl.
You're very suspicious. You know that?
Thank you. You're also very suspicious. You know, gnomes are quite used to the cold. Why are you twice bundled over?
I was raised in Kimcardy.
Even then. Shame.
I don't like you.
Well,
I think he's all right.
Dear Prince, I assure you the feeling is not mutual, and that I quite actually like you, and your wizard friend here, and your rogue friend here. It's a very interesting troop you have going on, and I very much intend to keep an eye on you three for my own entertainment's sakes.
Well, until next time, ta-ta.
Farewell.
I think we should find food.
I agree.
And then? What will we do then?
We wait.
No, we wait, I suppose. I'm curious to see if they send an owl.
Who knows? They might.
Well, we should watch and see.
Indeed.
All right. With that, we'll end the session there. I hope you guys had fun.
I
Hope
did.
you enjoyed it. I hope I can see you all again next week.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, thank you guys for playing. Thank you guys for watching, because I know that you always watch these again later for information.
Oh,
I did. See you all later. Goodbye.
boy.